2 of the NFL, of course, kicks off on Thursday night.
Let's rock it.
Not going to talk about what even is the Thursday game this week. I'm not even sure. Without, I can look it up here real quick. But I have
Thursday's the Bengals Browns. That's why you don't know about it.
That's right. Joey Burrow looked okay though.
Battle of Ohio.
I would argue Joey Burrow looked better than Danny Dimes in New York. I would argue that he looked better.
Yeah, maybe. I thought Danny showed some drives.
He did. He looked okay. There was just that one very Eli-esque decision to force that throw at the goal.
You also have Joe Burrow playing against. He's not playing against the Steelers in that.
Well,
game,
that's true too. They were the Chargers.
So it's a little bit different when you're playing against. Yeah, and the Chargers aren't a bad defense.
I think they have a great defense. Their defense has been good for years, to the point where they're going to waste a great defense because they have no offense.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Chargers have a chance to make some noise. The downside is the Chiefs are there. For Jake's sake, the Broncos are there. And
I thought the Broncos' offense looked pretty good. They didn't score.
Locke looked fine.
Drew Locke looked good. And they were missing Cortland Sutton.
They're missing their one.
Yeah, they were missing the wide receiver one. Melvin Gordon looked pretty good. Now Lindsay's
and people talk about the Lindsay injury, and I didn't see how severe that is. It doesn't sound that severe, but even if you have to lean on Gordon for a little while, the good news is you get to find out what you have in Gordon.
Sure,
that's like the nice thing. If you have to, lean the rock his way. But yeah, I thought the Broncos looked good. The defense.
Oh, I guess they reviewed the goal and it was waved off as I looked over it.
Man!
So it is still 1-1. It is still 1-1. I was trying to just look here on Twitter real quick, but
that Thursday night matchup. Good Lord.
Yeah, goal is waved off. All right, so let's go to Sunday. We'll start in Philadelphia with your Eagles. The 1-0 Rams come to town against the 0-1 Eagles. This one's a push. There's not a favorite right now, according to this was. I don't know what source Fox Sports uses for their betting line, but.
I have, according to the score.com, I have Rams by 1. Rams are favored by a point.
Okay. All right. So it's close. Philly. It's gonna fluctuate around probably 1 to 3. And up until game time on Sunday. Again, this is Tuesday, depending when you listen to the show. If you are into the degenerate lifestyle, you should probably always check your sources before you hammer any bets. 46.5 is the over/under line on this one. 1:00 Eastern time on Fox. Not to just be a Cowboys homer here, but I like the Rams to win outright. I'm gonna go under. I think the Eagles are gonna struggle to move the ball against this Rams defense. I mean, if you only put up 17 against Washington, I think the Rams defense is better. I still am not totally sold on the Rams offense. I mean, they did move the ball against Dallas, especially in the first quarter, but then the Cowboys defense settled in and was able to contain them a bit. So the Rams only scored 20 against Dallas. Eagles only scored 17 against Washington. I don't think we're getting to that 46.5. So I'm going to take the Rams and the under.
Well, I agree with you on the under. I don't think they're hitting that number. I'm not going to say the Eagles need to win when you're looking at a game 2, but at some point you're going to have to learn how to do this. And first of all, I don't think I ever really did the math on the fact that Ramsey is on the Rams. I didn't really do a math on that, but that's awesome. How that jersey's not selling more, I don't know. But either way, I think the Eagles...
Because they're hideous, that's why.
Oh,
Rams
that's right.
fans don't want to buy those things.
They're gross. The logo on the field looked stupid.
Oh, I actually like the logo on the field, and I don't mind their new helmet. And the blue.
I don't think the logo. I think the logo looks nonsense. It looks like a video game graphic from like 1987.
The blue jerseys aren't horrible, but they call them bone uniforms. that they were against Dallas.
Yeah, they boned those up.
Like
That's
it's not gray, it's not cream colored. It's like between the two. It's like a grayish khaki.
Tan.
Yeah, it is
gray,
horrific. It is horrible.
Gross.
Gross. They are absolutely gross. And they got like those shiny plastic numbers.
The jersey should sell more. Ramsey is pretty dope. But the Eagles might be in kind of a perfect situation, and the injury bug may help them when it comes to playing against a top tier corner like that, because you don't have a definite guy that he needs to be on. Ramsey's used to running up against teams where it's like, I have Amari Cooper, I have AJ Green, I have
Mike
Julio
Evans.
Jones.
Yeah.
That's my guy. He's just going to have to pick a side. And I think the Eagles are in a situation where, because everybody's kind of going to own a piece, I'm going to guess Ramsey's going to be on Ertz more than anything else. If I was going to guess, he's going to be asked to kind of come into the middle more, which is going to open up sideline routes and it kind of gives you a chance to get Goddard involved, which is my tight end start of the week. That's a lie, but it's a good start this week. If you have Goddard on your team, it's not a bad thing to think about, because Ertz will probably get blanketed by Ramsey. However, I think they keep it fairly low scoring as best they can. The Eagles are going to try to run more of a possession game and then use that downfield stretch, because you're going to have to run short plays to kind of keep the pass rush at bay, and then you use that speed over the top of it instead of just keep going downfield, which I think is what we tried in the first half this week. So I think the Eagles, I'm not going to say shock the world, but they're going to shock the Rams. So they'll cover that 1 point if it is 1 point. Probably win it close, but it's still going to stay under. So I'll take the Eagles.
So I'm going to try something new this week. I got a new sound bite to play around with, and it's this guy.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up.
You lock it up.
Lock it up.
Lock it up.
So if there's one of these four that you feel very confident in, like if we're giving betting advice to people, just tell me to hit it, and I'll hit it, and it'll be.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to tell you to lock up the Eagles there.
Oh God,
I would light limb. I'm a very heavy man on a very narrow limb.
Handle it loosely, handle it like you would handle a loaf of bread or eggs,
like a raw egg on a hot day.
Just be very gentle, like with a baby bird. Just don't squeeze it, don't smash it. All right, next one we got the 0-1 Panthers. Yeah, and the key to remember too, and obviously we can only go off what we learned in week one because there was no preseason, but some of your extreme bads are not going to be that bad throughout the year. Some of your extreme greats from week one are not going to be that great. But Cam and Bill, they are 1-0. The Tom Brady and the Carolina Panthers both 0-1. So they're leading out of the gate. Panthers at 0-1 at those Buccaneers 0-1. Tampa a 9.5 point home favorite. 49.5 is the number on that game. 1:00 on Fox. This one's going to be mine.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Tampa plus, and I'm going to go under, but I'm going to go Tampa plus the 10. I think Carolina is. I said it last week.
You said it last week.
I'm going to say it again. They are bad. Take Tampa Bay at home. I assume there's going to be. Do you know if there's going to be fans there at Tampa?
As far as I know, no.
Okay.
I don't think I haven't heard.
Jacksonville had fans
giving away tickets. But I don't know. At one point they were talking about fans. I'll have to look at it, and obviously you'll see it, and then people listening will see it before I get to say it on air. But I don't. I haven't heard anything, but I also don't really plan on going, so I didn't look it up.
You got the pirate ship, you got the cannons, you got Tommy in his first home game. You got those Gruden era uniforms back. All signs point to greatness this week for Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know if I'm going to make it my lock, but I don't think Carolina's as bad as you do. We made that obvious last week. I think Bridgewater is better than you think he is. I think the offense is better than you think he is. And I think that defense is still, despite some of the pieces that are missing, better than people think it is. Having said that, I'm riding your lock. I'm going to take Tampa with the Tampa to cover. You have an angry Tom Brady. You have a Tom Brady that's not angry at the world, not angry at the Saints, but angry at himself, and that's a very dangerous place to be in. And I'm taking him to cover it. I'm also going to take the over. Because I think Carolina's a little better. I think it's a little bit of a shootout early. I think Tampa pulls away late, and I think they cover, and it goes over.
All right. Then we go to the desert. We go to Arizona. The 1-0 NFC East leading Washington football team goes to the 1-0 Arizona Cardinals. They are a 6.5-point home favorite. 46.5 is the over/under number on that game. 4:05 on Fox. I feel like this is a hard game. Kyler Murray looked really good. I thought the Washington offense started to move the ball pretty well in the second half. But I like Arizona at home. 6.5. I might take Washington to cover the 6.5, but I'm going to take the over. I think it's going to be more offensive than defensive in the desert. So I'm going to take Washington, a slight cover on the 6.5, but I'm going to take the over.
And the over-under is where?
46.5.
That's right where they should have put it. That's a really well-placed one. All right, here's the deal. Hit the button.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. You lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Look, here's
lock it up.
A banged-up Eagles team got slapped around in the second half by a team that was just kind of riding momentum there through the second half. I think Washington is the same shell of a team it has been. I think Haskins is better, but he's not great. I think Kyler Murray is. And I know DeAndre Hopkins is. And I think Cardinals to cover is a lock. Cardinals to cover that. They're going to win by at least a touchdown, might be 2 or 3. I think the Redskins are going to get a little bit exposed here. And I also think part of that is the artist formerly known as the Redskins. The shell, like I said, a shell of a team. They used to be the Redskins. Now it's even more of a shell because they don't even have a name. So, whatever. I heard that slip a couple times during the game. I heard broadcasters call them the Redskins.
And
Jay Glazer did it before the game.
It's going to happen. It is going to happen.
But, the football team is going to get exposed in the desert. I think Arizona has a better defense than people are aware of, too. And it's not like they're unprepared for a mobile quarterback. They prepare against a better mobile quarterback. So I don't know that the cover is the over is a lock. I feel like that's a pretty well placed one, but I would take the cover to be a lock. I'm gonna also take the under though. I think defensively the teams are good enough. I don't know. I wouldn't say the under is a lock, but it's close. But that cover is.
All right, and then the final game, I alluded to it, the 1-0 new look New England Patriots travel to Seattle for the 1-0 Seattle Seahawks, who are a 4.5-point home favorite. 45 is the over-under on that one. And, of course, the Sunday Night Football game, 8:20 on NBC.
That's a good Sunday night game.
That's a really good Sunday night game. I tell you what, man, I liked the new look of the Patriots. Like
absolutely.
That is and I talked about it a little bit last week with Josh McDaniel was the coach of the Broncos when Tim Tebow was there. Cam Newton had a lot of designed runs. Obviously, you have not seen that with Tom Brady unless it was at the half-yard line and it was a QB
I was going to say, unless Cordarrelle Patterson was in the Wildcat.
So, it was a new look team. Defensively, again, you're playing the Dolphins, so I think you have to, watch some of your expectations going into this one. I'm going to take Seattle. I'm going to take a slight cover, but I think it's going to come real close. I think this could be one of those games where it's whoever has the ball last or which offense makes a mistake. I think it's going to be a tight game. I will take Seattle to cover that 4.5, but barely. If it's a touchdown victory, I would be surprised. I'm talking, this could be a 5 or maybe 6 point victory. And I'm gonna go over. These are two explosive offenses. Obviously with Seattle. I mean, I forget the stat that I heard on Sunday that it was like 65% of Russell Wilson's touchdown passes are over 20 yards or something like. And I don't know if it was during one of our fantasy drafts or it was on the show last week. But Russell Wilson, and anytime you have any of his receivers from a fantasy standpoint, he can go from being wrapped up in a sack to a 40-yard touchdown pass in a matter of seconds. So I like the over 45 Seattle slight cover.
I'm going to ride with you. And here's one of the scenarios that I think is strange. Like, not only when you say new look Patriots, it's not just a matter of designed runs. This is a team that just won a game by 10 points and didn't throw for a touchdown. Now, the quarterback was responsible for two of those in very different ways, but did not throw for a touchdown against the Dolphins. I think going into Seattle is a different ball game. I understand that the 12th man is a missing component.
Yeah, that's a big thing
of the Seattle home base, but I think Seattle's kind of on the other end of things. Like, people talk about Wilson in the offense, the Legion of Boom is kind of dismantled. There's the defense people think is just gone, but that's a defense that has still managed to show up to some extent. And I think they've added some good pieces, and they got some good young talent there.
Jamal Adams, one of those pieces, was all over the place on Sunday.
Yeah, and Jamal Adams was a huge part of that. So I think Cam Newton. I'm not gonna say gets exposed. I mean, Cam Newton is a great player, and New England is a good team. I'm not sure that beyond an Edelman in the slot, that the options in the passing game are there for him. I don't think the lack of passing touchdowns is entirely Cam's fault, and I don't think the lack of passing touchdowns this week will be entirely Cam's fault. I'm also going to take Seattle. I'm going to take them to cover. I think it's going to be a slightly larger margin than you do. Maybe it is a full touchdown, but it is one that I couldn't make it a lock because I could easily see Cam Newton coming out and just being like, "Hey, remember when I used to throw the football? Here it is." And Belichick is still Belichick, so you just never know. But I'm going to take Seattle at home. I'm also taking the over. I think I'm with you on both ends on that. I don't think I can see this game staying under unless for some reason, a lot of turnovers happen, bad weather, something that's not foreseen. But I see it going over as well.